It's starting. Okay, now we're live. Okay, there we go. All right, we had some issues today with YouTube, so we're going to have to, for the YouTube, we've got to get both cameras. We got Facebook Live going, and we had issues with YouTube, so we're just going to have to record it and then put the video on YouTube. So, welcome to Ark Appeal, and for those who have been following us, what we do is we try to show the wonderful benefits and pleasures and the awesome things that animals can teach us and the things that we can learn from that. And one thing, I kind of sent an email for those who have not signed up for Ark Appeal and who don't get the notifications and things like that. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys are in the comments or however we're going to do it so you guys can start getting notifications on when we're going to do all this stuff. And but we're going to have another issue, and I've got Emerald and Sky with me today, and we're going to talk about a few different things. And one thing I want to talk about is trust. Trust is a very big thing, and especially with everything that's going on now in the world, a lot of people may have lost their jobs, or they may be laid off or something like that, and a lot of people have fallen on hard times, and so. One thing I want to encourage you guys is that you have to trust in God, because it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. If you got your faith and you're trusting in God, then everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to work out. And I hate it for people who have lost their jobs or been laid off or whatever. Circumstances have changed for the worse. I do apologize for that. I hate that happened. But as long as you keep your eyes on God, then it's all going to work out. And so now with Ark Appeal, what we do is we talk about animals and how animals can relate to our lives. So we want to talk about trust with our animals. See, our animals, they trust us. They look to us to feed them, to give them water, to take them out to go to the bathroom. They trust us. They put their trust in us to take care of them. And that's how we should be. That's how we should live our lives. And so I kind of want to talk about that with you two. What are your thoughts on all that stuff?
For me, I think for the first part, for my lizard, sometimes I'm trying to get him out, try to take care of him and, hold him and feed him. And sometimes he doesn't want to. He tries to run away. And, that's with God. Sometimes he has something really good for us and he's trying to, hold us and take care of us. And sometimes we just don't think, that's right, but he's really trying to take care of us and stuff. So
yeah. And kind of, I don't want to jump ahead if you had something to say. Do you have something to add to that?
Oh no.
Okay. With sometimes, even as a parent, for me as a parent, I try to love on you guys as kids growing up, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, he's just an old man. He don't know nothing, But you have to trust that I've been where you have been, and I have a lot more experience. So sometimes growing up, you have to trust me as a parent that even though I may say something you don't like, you have to trust that I'm telling you the right thing, correct? Mm-hmm. And the other thing, is, with our lives in God is sometimes He wants to hold us, but sometimes we don't want to. We come kicking and screaming, you know what I mean? We're like, no, I don't want to. I want to be in my grumpy little mood. I want to go pout, and so, sometimes we don't trust that God is taking care of us. Sometimes even in the storm, remember when the disciples were in the storm and the boat was about to tip over and wreck and all this, and Jesus was asleep, but what did those disciples trust in? They didn't trust in Jesus. He was in the boat asleep. I mean, if Jesus is asleep, I think I would have slept. I would have curled up right next to him, making him in sleeping with him, but sometimes we have to trust that even He's going to love us the right way. And I think that's something we had discussed earlier too, is God is love. Mm-hmm. And His ways are higher than ours, and His thoughts are higher than ours. And so we have to trust that He's going to love us in the right way. Mm-hmm. And just like your lizard, sometimes you've been bitten by your lizard. You want to hold your lizard and show your lizard that you love it, and you want to say, oh, come here, little lizard, but your lizard's like, no, get away from me. He's all crabby and he bites you, or he runs from you. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we have to trust that God is love, and so He's going to take care of us in the best way. Yeah. And He's going to love us in the best way. Even though we may not love the same way, You know, there's a book that Mom and I have read called The 5 Love Languages. And sometimes people love in different ways. And we have to learn how other people love us and how to love other people. And so just like our animals have to trust that their care is in our hands. And they have to trust us in that. So, Sky, what do you have to add?
That's good. I had something to add to what you just said. We kind of talked about in the car. So, like, we know, like, cats and dogs are different. We know how to, like, pet our cats, but sometimes they don't want to be cuddled. Like, the dogs love to be cuddled. So, like, God knows how to love each one of his children because he made them, and obviously he knows how we respond to certain types of love. And then another thing I was going to say, like, how to relate the animals to how, like, we should trust God is, like, with discipline. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that later, if I'm jumping ahead this time. But, like, you know, we have dogs that'll go run out into the middle of the street, and we, like, yell at them to come back because we know if they stay in the street, they're going to get run over or taken because we have some cute dogs, so.
Some cute dogs, not all of them, just some.
Not all of them, just some. I'm a little biased. But, like, God knows, like, hey, if you go out in the street, you're going to get, or, like, even, you know, going out in the rain, getting all muddy, like, he knows what we should do, when we should do it, and stuff like that. So we should trust him with that. So, yeah.
That's a good one, you know, and just like that, you know, sometimes, you know, God disciplines us because we may get off of his path, we may get out of his will, and so sometimes he has to discipline us. And it's not that God's trying to necessarily get on to us, kind of like, oh, go sit in the corner, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not necessarily like that. It's just because he disciplines us out of his love. And so it's really like, hey, dude, I've got, this is my perfect will for you, man. It's kind of like going down the highway. You can drive your car all over the highway, right? But there are certain laws in place to keep you going in the right direction, and so you don't get hurt while you're driving down the road to get where you're going. And so sometimes you can be weaving all over the place. Well, God's laws and his love, it's like love's on one side, discipline's on the other, and you have to have both to kind of keep you centered and keep you going. But we have to trust, just like when we're driving, we have to trust that those laws, the red lights, the stop signs, the yield signs, the speed limit signs, we have to trust that all those are there for our protection and to get us where we're going safely. And so we have to trust that, you know. And can you speed? Absolutely. Can you run a stop sign? Yeah. But what's going to happen? What are those consequences? And we have to think about that too. If we don't trust those laws, those boundaries, that's another good word, that, you know, we have to trust those boundaries are going to keep us where we go and keep us in line and keep us going where we get to get us going where we need to go safely. Yeah. So that's a good thing about the discipline. You know, sometimes our dogs and cats don't understand when we yell at them, get out of the middle of the road, there's a car coming. They don't know. And then we go yank them, and you know what I mean? And they think, rah, you know, the cats especially start clawing us and everything else. And then we're like, look, dude, I'm trying to protect you, man. You know, and sometimes they don't understand that.
Or they'll come back panting, going, so hot outside, I should have gone all the way over there. Like, you just stayed in the yard.
Yeah. Now, and another thing that's kind of opposite of that, because we do have some lazy animals too. We have especially a couple of cats that they're just lazy, and they're just like, meow, hold me, meow, pet me, you know. And it's kind of like, you are so needy. You are so needy. But you know, it's just like those cats. You know, we have to, even the lazy cats, they know this is how they became lazy, because they know we're going to take care of them, you know. And so we have to think about that too. We know that God's going to take care of us, but we can't get lazy in what we've been called to do. You know, there's certain things that certain gifts and talents that everybody's got, certain gifts and talents that we're supposed to be using to bless people. And we can't get lazy going, well, you know, I'm saved and, you know, I trust in God, so I'm just going to sit back and just wait till the sweet by and by. You know, those old timers, those old people, they say sweet by and by. Any of your friends say sweet by and by? No. So, all the old timers say sweet by and by. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. So, but you can't just sit back and go, well, I've got what I need, so I don't have to worry about nothing else. God's actually trusting us too to use what we have to help other people. You know, whatever that is. If you're an artist, if you like snakes like me, you know, or if you're an astronaut or a geologist, or if you want to go into politics, you know, whatever you feel like your gift is, use it, you know, to help other people, to bless other people, you know. So we have to also, just like our animals, we have to trust that God's got our best interest at heart, you know. And just like I mentioned before, you know, His ways are higher than ours, and His thoughts are higher than ours. So we have to use that to say, okay, well, you know what? I'm trusting that God's got my best interest at heart, your best interest at heart. So I'm going to do my best, you know, and God's trusting that we're going to use what He's given to us. You know, it's just like the parable of the talents. You know, that dude, pastor talked about that this morning. He said he gave some this many talents, this many talents, and this many talents, and he expected those guys, he trusted that those guys were going to take those talents and use it in increase. So when he got back, he would have that increase. So God's actually kind of trusting in us too, you know. But just like our animals trust in us to feed them and to water them and to give them a good shelter, even though they act like idiots sometimes, just like us, sometimes we act stupid, you know. But we have to trust God. So
I have one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So with the lazy cat, Zoe, the big one. So I just thought of when you were saying, you know, we have to trust. The animals trust their owners to take care of them. Zoe will actually go across the street to the neighbors to get food, but she can't trust them to do that every time. She comes home and she's gonna trust that we're gonna feed her, not them, because you know they might be like, well, I don't want a cat. You know?
Well, think about that too. Zoe's fat. She's big, and she eats too much. So she has to learn to trust that we're giving her the right amount of food, you know? And sometimes that can be it too. Sometimes we have to, even in lean times, in the times that we're struggling, sometimes, maybe we made a mistake. And maybe that's because maybe we're blocking any blessings coming our way because we made a mistake. But sometimes we want something and desire something so much, it's just what we want. But we have to trust that if God's not giving it to us, there's a reason for it. You know, if maybe it's not time yet, maybe it's not the right time. We heard that this morning on the CD too, that we have to trust God's timing. That, you know, it says that it's for an appointed time, and so maybe that's not the appointed time yet. You know, and just like Zoe, you're too fat. You are so lazy. You can't even scratch yourself right. We gotta scratch for you.
Jump over the dish. She has to walk all the way around.
So just like Zoe needs to trust that we want to take care of you, Zoe. But look, you need to cut down on your food consumption. You don't need any more food. You're good. Yeah. So you got plenty. So just like that. Now there's one scripture I want to read. It's Proverbs chapter 3. Verse 5 and 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." And now it doesn't, you know, we can be smart, we can be intelligent, we can have the highest IQ ever, but if we're not trusting in God, we shouldn't lean on our understanding. We have to trust that God's going to get us through. You know, in all of our ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct our path. He's going to show us which way to go. You know, Emerald, I took you out a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. Took you out to a deer camp, and I love going to the deer camp. And one of our cats is going to walk across the screen right there, and and you know, the only thing that I should have done that we didn't do is I didn't bring a compass with us. But what did I tell you while we were out there? How do we find our way back to that camp?
You know, you can look at I can't
What
remember
did I tell you?
what you said.
I said you can follow the stream all the way back. It doesn't matter if you keep the stream on your left or keep the stream on your right. As long as you follow that stream, you'll find your way back to camp. So in all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. As long as we acknowledged that stream was right there, we could direct our path back. And that's the same way with God. Even though we're out in the middle of the woods, out in the middle of nowhere, looking for crazy animals, you know, seeing, we love nature, we love being out in nature. But as long as we acknowledge, we can direct our path back to where we need to go. And it was just the entrance and the exit, right? There were two ways the streams came in. We could have parked over here and followed the streams in, or we could have driven right into camp. But we could direct our paths to the way in and the way out, and we could find our way home after that, right? So as long as we acknowledge, just like we acknowledge that stream, if we acknowledge God, then we can direct our paths back. Even in nature, looking for crazy wild animals like pigs. Remember, you know, we almost ran into some wild pigs and stuff, and that would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we found some cool snakes.
Yeah.
You found a cool snake that we hadn't seen. I haven't seen that kind of snake in 30 years. But it was cool, though. You know, we had a lot of fun. And life can be an adventure. Maybe that's the next thing we need to talk about. Life can be an adventure, just like animals. Maybe we'll talk about that next, Tim. Any other words?
Oh, I had one, but it left me. Maybe I shouldn't have said it. Maybe it's for next time.
Maybe for next time. All right, so we hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Ark Appeal. I know it's kind of short, but we just want to give you guys some little tidbits of wisdom, and we hope you can see you guys next time. And again, we're going to try to do the Facebook Live. The YouTube Live, and hopefully we get all that set up. And you guys follow me on all social media, Steve Snakesweary on all social media, because usually I'll create events. I usually create events on Google, on Facebook, everything. I usually create events for that. So if you guys want to know more about Ark Appeal, like I said, I'll leave a link so you guys can sign up and get those emails. I've been trying to send out emails at least once a week just to keep in touch with everybody, encourage everybody, and just help everybody. So if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can contact us, and we'll see you guys later.
Yep.
Got that one. Hit this one down here. Down there at the bottom on the right. It says right here.
Okay.